Hi, everyone. Okay, so a lot is going on, and I actually tried to make this video a couple minutes ago, and I was just like, I need to regroup for a second. I don't know what to say. It's been a week. I went traveling. I went to the Outer Banks and North Carolina for a few days or a couple of days, and then I went home to West Virginia, where my mom lives, and I have two moms. So the mom I grew up with, and so many auspicious, wild things have happened since then. I don't even know where to start, and I want to keep these somewhat, not too long and digestible. So I feel like I should pick a Lumarian card because these are always timeless. Like, even if you see this years from now, everything is connected. And that's what's coming through to me so strongly. Like, I say these things all the time, everything's connected, all is one is all. And then I realize that it's a different thing. Like, it's one thing to know it. I've always loved the quote, it's one thing to know the path, it's another thing to walk the path. And I have a lot of work to do. I'm not necessarily like walking the path perfectly or anything at all. I'm messy. I'm messy and all over the place and all kinds of things. But what's happening is I'm experiencing true unity a lot of the time. This means like I love everything, like everything. Um, Within reason. I mean, I'm not going to get close to negative things or harmful things or like dabble in any of those things or I don't even know if that's making sense. But like I have nothing but love. Nothing but love for all things, all people, all souls, all of it, light, dark, shadow, everything. And it is absolutely shattering, like absolutely shattering. I have been crying so much since I got on the plane yesterday. I just kind of had this like, it wasn't a breakdown. I mean, it's kind of like a breakthrough. All these fun things are coming through. So I have so much to tell you. Over the time with my mom in West Virginia, I had never, like, we all hear about downward spiral. I had never heard of upward spiral. Everyone talks all the time, downward spiral. I'm in a downward spiral. Like, you just hear it all the time. Why aren't we talking about our upward spirals more often than the downward? And then my friend Jennifer, she might watch this. She was saying something about green flags instead of red flags, right? We talk about red flags, red flags. Why aren't we talking about green flags? And then she was talking about like beige flags. And then I was like, well, what about a freak flag, And why aren't we talking about these things more? It's time. It's time to be in love and joy spaces, and you're not doing it because you're terrified. And I'm saying that because I'm terrified right now. Like I am having extreme, I'm going to say all the positive things first. I am experiencing on the day. And don't I look like so young right now? Like I don't have my nicer camera out, but I'm just like, I feel like I'm aging backwards. Every time I look at my face in the mirror, I see lightness and youthfulness. And it's because I think I'm transmuting. Like, I don't think I know. I'm transmuting lifetimes and lifetimes of energy that I've been carrying, like grief and like remembering and all the things. And now I'm getting hot. So I had this sweater on because I'm shivering. I just got home to Florida in the Keys. It's hot. My AC, like I keep checking the AC. I'm like, did somebody, crank it down? Like, why am I so cold? And now that I talk to you, this is what happens. The energy starts to move and I warm up. Let me choose a card. Anyway, I feel like I'm aging backwards. That's weird. And even so, I have these lines. I know you can't see it as well, but I channeled on that. I have these lines plus an extra one now. And finally, I was just like, I need to channel on this because I've never liked them. I've tried to get Botox twice and it didn't work on me. And even then, something in my intuitive world said, Jolie, yeah, spirit's not gonna allow that. Nope, they're there for a reason, and that's your freaking face, like third eye area. Like spirit is not gonna allow you to put things in there, and this is no judgment, by the way, towards anyone who does things. They say if you want to change your appearance, you can. In my particular case, they're like, you are correct. It will not work on you. They called them glyphs. Um, like they're like lifetimes of like focused work I've done, and I'm clearly still doing it. And now this extra line, and I mean lots of women get these, I'm not like the only one, but it's like the energy is now expanding outward. And I have this whole beautiful channel thing that I plan to share because I just hope it inspires people to age naturally. Like I have always loved people with gray hair. I've always found that like really attractive. And I gravitate towards these, conscious, spiritual, women who are in their crone years. I just think they're gorgeous. And I love the wrinkles on their face. Like I've always loved my wrinkles when I smile. I think they're beautiful. But these were not, my favorite ones because I just like it just maybe looks like I'm so serious. Anyway, um, I've pulled a card, and I think I'm going to pull more than one. It says gracious receptivity. That's beautiful. Her hands are out. But her hands are a little bit curled. So, and there's butterflies and um hummingbirds, which I just feel so connected to right now. There's, oh my gosh. Okay, so there's a Merkaba, which is so powerful. I mean, that's one of my sacred geometry symbols. And there's an eye in her throat chakra. You guys, I have had throat chakra stuff coming through, and none of this is for me. I mean, it is, but anything that comes through me is also for anybody who watches this if it resonates. It's time to share your voice. If you've been feeling like there's stuff you need to say and can't, maybe it's to like a partner or to, people, or maybe you're like me and you're wanting to share more spiritual things, but you're not sure where or how. Start doing this in your house. Make sounds like hum. If you like to sing, sing a song, but use your voice when you're alone as much as possible, because this is toning. It's like there's vagal things happening, but it's toning your body. It's sound healing from the inside out. It's putting amazing vibrations into all 37.2 trillion cells in your body. It's amazing. So where can you graciously receive? Take a breath and let it go. I have so many things to tell you, and I don't feel like I can tell them all. So I'm kind of just like, Spirit, what is best for those who will listen to this? I'm glad I'm not crying because I was. I stayed up past midnight. Well, I stayed up just past midnight. I'm like, okay, Jolie, it's now tomorrow. I think it's time to go to bed. And I think I cried for hours. But it was like a beautiful grief. It was like grief, but like breakthroughs and joy. And I'm feeling everything so intensely, like all of the time. So I think I started to say something and got sidetracked. So I'm feeling love, joy, bliss, elation, awe. I mean, serenity, like the most incredible, most powerful emotions and feelings that one can experience as a human. And at the very same time, and I kind of said this in another video, I'm feeling grief and fear and like absolute like obliteration of everything that I thought was real and true. And I'm confused and I'm overwhelmed. And over here, I'm like, I'm strong. My physical body is strong. I feel powerful. I feel like I can do anything. And then over here, I'm like, I'm shaking and I feel weak and I feel tired and I feel little and like what, and it's all happening at once. So in North Carolina, my boyfriend like got out of the car to like go get his mom a bagel, and just like, so he's a very grounding, like a very grounding energy. and he like just went in to get a car, and I had this like full thing happen, and I'm like, oh my God, like where I like start to like, like kind of like shake and kind of cry, and I'm like, what's happening to me right now? And it's like the veil is thin, and we're having some energetic activations and upgrades, and I'm like, okay, I'll just hold on for dear life and hope for the best. Whew. I mean, like it won't stop. I'm on a freaking cosmic roller coaster right now. And so that was interesting. And then, a lot of other things interesting happened. Just trying to think if there's like anything like really important to tell you. I mean, it's all important, it's all valid. But I think the most stuff that happened to me was when I went to West Virginia. So I went back to my hometown, Parkersburg, West Virginia, and I took a yoga class there that was really nice. I did like a transformational breath work, and this shaman guy was like playing drums during it. And that was special, guys. I grew up there. I lived in 1996. That was a dense, dense energy. And I don't like it there. I struggle. And I had a great childhood, but because of my spirituality and choosing to grow up in a really dense geographical location, it did a lot of positive things for me to be where I am here now. But it's also not easy to go back. And I realized I really want to transmute the energy, because everything is a choice of what you choose to focus on the most. And like a lot of people, there's stigma around West Virginia. People make jokes about West Virginia, and it's one of the poorer states in the country. But it's also, this is what I came to realize, it's also a beautiful untapped energy. So when I channeled on it, they were like, Jolie, you're feeling the trauma of this land and of this people, of these people. It's like there's an ancient grief here, but also West Virginia is kind of like still really untapped. It's almost like it's new and fresh in a way as well. And so I'm like, okay, I need to work on this. And so I spent about an hour and a half in the yard. I got my mom's yoga mat and I put it out in the yard, and I didn't do anything intense, but I just like opened my body, just whatever felt good. I just did a lot of yoga poses. And then I laid down in the grass and I put on a breathwork recording that, like kind of like the trippy DMT kind. And before I knew it, these beings, this is in my vision world. I I did post about this in the circle. I forget how to spell it. It's like ZA. I'm not good with names, numbers, I'm just good with what do they look like? What do they feel like? Zai, it's ZY, Zai apostrophe capital LARI, like Zylari. This portal opens, and all of these little beings, like lots of them, like I'm never scared because I have full trust, but a little part of me is like, this is like a gremlin movie. Like, are these the ones, where they got wet and turned into little like psycho creatures? And but they all come like pouring out of this portal. I'm talking bright blue, tiny, really like skinny arms and legs and bodies, but these little like kind of almost like a little pot belly, and their joints were knobby, like their joints were a little wider than like their arms, and they come scurrying out, and they have this like chipmunk squirrel energy. It's very like this, like you can see, right? And they're coming out and coming out and coming around, and I'm like, is this okay, guys? And I knew it was okay. And so they basically, like, without it sounding too weird or creepy, they kind of all jumped on me. I mean, it's kind of like that Jurassic Park movie where that guy gets taken out by that, like, the dinosaurs. They go, hey, you're a cute little dinosaur. And they go, and then there's like more and more and more and more of them. And then he's gone. I was like, whew, this is concerning. Anyway, I knew it was okay though. So like I'm aware that I'm constantly being taught how to release, settle down, bypass that human 3D earth mind where we do have fear, where we do have these like, you know, I don't know, lower vibrational thoughts and things that come in that are in there as well, that are part of the whole. So I'm very aware, and they just kind of keep telling me it's okay, just hold that, just breathe, just, but be here, be here, be here. And so they basically just they like kind of attached themselves to my nervous system, and they did a whole bunch of work on me, and they had these like dragon dog things, like wolf, tiger, dragon, like, you can't explain these things. And it was really, really powerful. And then after they did this work, they all kind of gathered around in a circle, and all this bright light just started shining down. It was just like I was in the light. I was like in silver, gold, and white light. And then this portal opened up and they all left. It was just like whoosh. It's almost like, they left, they flew, they got swept out, they were willing, like I don't know. And the portal closed, and I was like, oh, that was interesting. But like, I don't know, some little part of me was like, I want one to come back. Oh, wait, but I forgot. There was one before that ended. Because I was having questions, the rational mind kept coming in. I was like, is this really happening? Is it safe? Like, who are you? Like, so my human mind, my ego is like, I want to know your name. Like, what kind of beings are you? And so this one comes up to me, and she's so cute. She's so cute, so precious. And she comes up and she puts her hands out, and she's real little and I'm kind of big. She puts her hands out and she says, I'm gonna cry. She says, hold my hands. See, I'm getting emotional. She's like, don't look away. See, this is happening to you too. You are having an activation. If you're feeling a connection to this, it means something is happening to you energetically in this moment as well. She said, hold out my hands. Don't look away. Focus on me. And I'd have these questions, and she said, just focus on me. And it was so loving. And so the work would happen. And then they all left through the portal. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm fine. Like, I wasn't sad, but I was like, I want one to come back. And there she was, like, without a portal opening or anything. She was just in front of me. She's like, yes. And I was like, well, I want to know your name. And she said, well, my name is Elwyn. And I know that spirits often, like, the names are kind of like what we want them to have. It might not necessarily be their real name, because these beings, they never spoke. So even though I said, she said, her mouth was never moving. It was just like I heard the words in my mind from her. I guess you could say it was telepathic. So it felt like she was speaking to me, but her mouth never moved. It was just like, it was just, conveyed. And so in the conveyingness, she's like, my name is Elwyn. Elfwyn, sorry, Elfwyn, Elfwyn. My grandfather's name, interestingly enough, was Elwyn. And she said her name is Elfwyn. So, I did the yoga, I did the breath work, I was touching the earth. I had this experience. I had lots of contributing factors to shift my energy. But I had been very agitated, and my mom is like super aware of like everything I'm doing and everything I'm going through, and she's like very connected as well. I didn't say anything. I just went inside and like, I was like, oh, that was nice. And she was like, but like, you were really calm right now. She like, I know she's my mom, but like, she really noticed a difference. And then I told her what happened. And I don't know, the whole thing was just really wild. And now I have this new little guide that I can call forward, Elfwin. All right. So anyway, we went to visit my dad's grave because, it was Memorial Day weekend. He didn't die in the war, but he did serve in Vietnam. And my grandfather served in World War II. And all of my, like, most of my great aunts and uncles, even the women, served in World War II. So there's a long line of service in my family. And I'm feeling really emotional because when we got to the graveyard, anybody, and this is a big graveyard. It's out in Elizabeth, West Virginia, out in a tiny, tiny, teeny, teeny town. I mean, people are driving their four-wheelers on the street and stuff. It's like really little. There's like one gas station, like one store, windy, windy road to get out to it. But it's still a big graveyard. There were flags everywhere. anybody who had, displayed military service on their gravestone had a brand new, fresh flag in the ground. And it just that just meant so much to me that somebody would do that, because I just looked around and I was like, gosh, how much time did that take? How many people came here and did this? I mean, that's really special. When, have you been doing things like that? Have you been taking time out of your life and just letting all of your to-do lists and have tos and shoulds just put to the side and just do something that maybe you won't ever be recognized for? Maybe something that no one will even thank you for, but you did it because it mattered and it's important to remember. These are the questions that are important to ask ourselves for this new earth. And so now that I'm all emotional, I feel like I want to tell you this next part. So I have so much to digest, and I have so much to figure out how to eloquently and succinctly start sharing with the world. But when I was in the Outer Banks, this I'm just curious, in my own mind, do I even want to say these words anymore? Um, what's going on with people, people who are taken, um, children who are stolen, um, these things. Um, it's in the millions. I'm just gonna say it, human trafficking. And I'm not gonna keep speaking on this much more, although I am gonna write a book on human trafficking, and it's going to be one of the most courageous things I write in my life, and it won't come super soon because I need to write some other books first and just feel secure and safe and like I know what I'm doing before I launch a work of that magnitude. But I asked the councils and the Akashic Records, I said, if that issue, what I just spoke of, and I don't want to say the words again, if one out of a scale of 1 to 100, if 1 is the worst it's ever been on this planet, and 100 is it being fully in the light and healed, what number are we at right now in 2025 in this point in history? And in me dedicating my life to this cause as one of my greatest purposes with co-creation, I can't do this alone. If I do everything I can to bring light, to shine light, to activate souls, to connect all these soul groups, the 300, the 2000, the 144,000, the Lighthouse Network, the Sisterhood of the Rose, the original architects, the Akashic Record creators, and all of these soul groups that I have now come into awareness of. If I dedicate as much as my time, in all the right ways, without suffering, without running myself ragged, doing through high vibrational living, through love, through joy, through new earth mentality, what can we get that number to before I die? I would need to look at it again because I don't remember if it was 74 or 75, but they said, Jolie, you can get this to at least 74 or 75, at least. Do you understand that on a scale of 1 to 100, if 24 is where it is now, and let's just say 75 is where we can get it to, if not more, that's 50, that's half. That's like basically saying I don't do math well, but I think it's like saying we can eradicate it by 50%. And we're talking about, because I asked that too, millions. We're talking millions of people are caught up in shadow network type of energy. And then they said, Jolie, you won't see it in this lifetime, but you and the co-creators of the new earth will additionally lay the grid work for the 111. They said it doesn't end at 100, it being fully in the light, it being fully healed. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond into something that you cannot yet even imagine. And this is the work that you and your soul groups are doing for the Golden Wave children and all those that come on this planet afterwards. They said that in my lifetime, I can write at least 44 books, more if I want to. They said very soon I'm going to be rising very quickly, not for fame, not for numbers. I am not meant to speak to masses necessarily, like, just like, crowds and crowds on, stages like Tony Robbins. Like, we're not talking about like those types of like scales. But in just a few years, I'm going to be like, they said, I might be on the Joe Rogan podcast. They said I can be. They said it's in my future. They said that exists. And I've already said yes to it. And the question is not whether or not I will be ready, because of course I went into little old me self and I was like, should I even ask this? I'm just little old me. Like, how could I be that? How could I be that confident, that strong, that ready? I think I would just cry. And they said, well, first of all, the question is not whether or not you will be ready. The question is, when will he be ready? And he will be, because these are the things that are coming forward fast, furiously. Holy rage is fueling this. The most incredible love and light is fueling this. And so this is what is actually happening. Let me pick another card. Awakened awareness. I mean, okay. Done. Happening. Did you need a signier sign? Yeah, so this is really powerful. And, look at me. Do you see this? Like, and I have to keep asking. I'm like, I feel like I'm in my ego. I feel like I'm full of myself. I feel like saying, I'm going to change the world is just like me being like full of myself. Like, I did not understand the difference between ego, and I don't know the opposite, but, um, but people that have the greatest doubt often have the greatest trajectory. That's what I wasn't understanding. I was like, how can I do all this when I'm scared, where I'm insecure, where I feel the most confident yet the most unsure of my life, like, and they said, well, you're feeling these little me parts so deeply because you're remembering all of your past lifetimes at once. So a couple nights ago, everything was fine, but I'm laying in bed almost ready to fall asleep and just in a state of joy up in West Virginia. And I get this call from a friend, and she's like, Jolie, your son Kyan, I just passed by. He's out on the side of the road. There's cops there. There's multiple vehicles. There's multiple people. She didn't say he was harmed or anything. So at least I knew he wasn't like, in a car accident, but he just had a car accident a couple of weeks ago. Like, somebody else hit him, totally not his fault. He wasn't harmed. But there's just kind of this energy of like really crazy things happening like lately. And so I called him and he didn't answer. And so I'm just sitting there, states away, planes away in my bed. And like, of course I call his dad. And then I just have to like wait to hear like what's happening. Like, I didn't know. And, to make a long story short, his friend had just like somebody else like hit his bumper, like really lightly, not a big deal, but they were waiting for the police report. My son just heard that his friend was in this predicament and just went to like check it out to make sure he's okay, see if he needed a ride. So it was like, it ended up being like nothing bad at all. But of course, as a mom, you're like, oh my gosh, what if he's with a friend and the friend had like, drugs in the car that like whatever, you just go down these spirals, right? And my heart was just like boom, 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 boom. And I felt sick and I just like wanted to vomit and I'm like pretty much having a panic attack. And I'm just like, like, what is this? Like, I can't feel like this. This is unreasonable. Like, what is happening? And so, and it was like the next day, but of course I channeled, I like asked my guides and they're like, Jolie, you're remembering everything. You weren't overreacting. You are remembering past lives where your children weren't safe. They weren't okay, you know? And so it's like, the veils are so thin. I'm feeling it all. And it's not always going to be like this. This is sort of like an integration, a recalibration, but you change the past by working now in the present. You can change the past. You can go back and change and rewrite history. It's like we can do this. It's crazy. Anyway, so like that's just sort of like what I'm going through. I'm having like really intense emotional stuff all of the time. And so I'm going to get off here in a minute and I'm going to go start writing my book. I already started writing my first book. And it's just all so incredibly wild. And in the same breath, my space in Key West is supposed to turn into a temple space. And so that needs to shift. And it's just like everything, everything, everything is happening. And the most important thing that I want to try to express, and I'm not sure I'm going to say it as eloquently as I would like to, and I'm going to work on this and I'll probably, make a post and possibly another video about it. But I just keep asking, I'm like, what is happening? Like, if I can remember all my past lives now, and don't get me wrong, I'm not like remembering every detail. They're glimpses. Like I see scenes and I feel things and then just know, like, everywhere I go, like just something happens and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, oh, I do this because of that life. And oh, I have this ability because of that life. And oh, okay, the future lives are talking to me and my galactic council future self is like, leading me and, everybody else too. And like, whatever. And, where is it going with that? So I was just like, why this life? If I remember every life and clearly my future life, my future self is communicating with me from the Galactic Council, why am I not just her? Like, can't she and the council just like fix Earth? Like, why this timeline? Why 2025? And I don't like the word stuck, but for lack of better words, I'm like, why am I stuck in this body? Like, I can't make myself go into the future. Like I'm here in this body, I'm here in this form, I'm here in this life until I die. And like, why is that? And this is where I don't know if I can explain this to you eloquently enough, but they said, because this life, this time, first of all, it's not more important than, it's not better than. It just is across all dimensions, timelines, multiverses, expressions, forms, realities, whatever. But they said this right here, this time in history is, I got chill bumps. Just got chill bumps all over. Of course I did. They said this time in history, this life, right now, is the most potent and powerful time to change all timelines and all lives so that we can rise into the new earth, so that we can eradicate through light, through love, anything that is not of love and light. because we can. That 1 to 100, moving the little thing from 24 to 75 is enough to eradicate it. And then it will move into 111. And it's this time right now in history. You watching this are part of it. That's why all of the crazy and all of the beauty is happening right now. So I'm going to say it again. There is nothing you need to do unless you want to. The best thing that you can do is to do the inner work, to breathe, to sing, to dance, to play, to make love, to live in joy, to work on releasing and integrating trauma. And you can do that any which way you want. Join Tai Chi, join a running club, whatever makes you happy. That thing that's why I was crying about the flags at the cemetery. You don't need to go around put flags in cemeteries if that's not your thing and your purpose, and if you're not connected to soldiers and war. I'm not. I honor them. I love them. And that's so hard to send your babies off to fight. It's not okay. I mean, it is okay because we need it right now. This is where we are in this time in history, but it's not going to stay. Anyway, what can you do to move into more joy spaces? That's all you have to do. And then if you feel the call, join my monthly hour. It's not mine, it's our monthly activation group. Tonight, you'll probably see this after a lot of you, but the first one is tonight, World Prayer. It's an activation when a group of people all focus on a similar intention at the same time. Absolute magic and transformation happens when more than 50 people do it at once. And we have like 45 signed up right now. And it doesn't matter if we get 50 or not, because everything's in divine order. We're going to keep doing it monthly and monthly. But when more than 50 people do this focus intentional work for like 22 minutes, it actually creates a node. So there's earth grids, right? There's energy grids. And unfortunately, it's not unfortunate, it's divine order. There are some shadow aspects happening. And so when people like us connect, even if it's through a hug and a smile and sharing, a coffee together and joy, we are raising the vibration and we create a connection. And so all these connections are being made. All the light workers, all the star seeds, all of these soul groups are awakening right now in this time on the planet. We've had our lives of challenges, of trauma, of all the necessary things we needed to move through in this particular incarnation. And now we're all waking up. It's why so many people are like, what's going on? The world feels so different. I'm having all these weird, auspicious things happening. You are awakening. And we're uniting our energies across the globe, and it creates a living light grid of higher vibrations that holds the earth in a resonance that anything lower than that cannot withstand the light will crumble and fade away. So if you want to take part, one, join those. But there's so many things that you can do if you want to step out further. But I just want to give you full permission that you don't have to. Knowing is enough, and making your life as high vibrational as you can, working on yourself, doing the inner work is so much more than you know. It is so much more powerful than you could ever imagine. You have so much impact in what is happening. So I feel like I want to choose one final card. I feel like I'm about complete. I feel like I've forgotten like 50,000 things that would be really interesting and life-changing in this video. And I will get there. Thank you for letting me cry. I was even worried about that. I was like, I feel like I'm just going to get on people's podcasts and cry. And they're like, good, do it. That's what the world needs. Like, crying is not weakness. It is embodiment. It is love. It is feeling. It is fullness. It is healing. It is transmuting. It is all the things. And we don't need people embarrassed to cry anymore. We need people who are willing to just be fully in their authentic expressions. And yeah, I was like, yeah, this is not what I thought awakening would be like. And I'm like, I know I'm not enlightened, but I guess I had some kind of weird misconception that you had to keep coming back to earth until which time you were enlightened. And I thought enlightened meant that would look like a monk or some kind of guru who meditates 8 hours in a cave every day. And I was like, my God, I'm going to have to come back here over and over and over. They're like, no, that's not enlightenment. Enlightenment is remembering. It's remembering everything you've ever been, everything you are, everything you'll ever be, and holding that in love. When you're just in a state of love, in spite of being hurt, in spite of darkness, in spite of challenges, in spite of trials, when you just remember it all and you're just in full resonance, and yet you're still focused on this incarnation because you chose that and you chose it to awaken, that is enlightenment. And I'm like, this is really not what I thought it would be. This is messy. This is weird. This is wild. Like, I'm not calm. I'm all over the place. I'm like crazy right now. And they're like, yeah, that's full embodiment. That is not turning away or shutting off or dimming or numbing out of anything you've ever experienced. That is strength. That is courage. And I'm still like, okay, I'm not sure I fully get it. I mean, I kind of get it, but I'll be honest, I'm still confused. I'm still trying to figure it out. So anyway, this final card for you is the sound of the universe. And I love this because you can hear sound if you focus. Ask the universe to send you sounds in your mind. I've heard people like Abraham Hicks say they first started channeling by oming. She said it doesn't matter what frequency you choose. Pick one that is pleasing to you, focus on it, and then release the sound and listen to the sound in your mind as an anchor, and let that be the thing that holds you, that helps keep your mind from going all over the place and all the things you have to do in the monkey mind, and just to hold the focus so that spirit can speak, so that things can come in. And I just want to remind you again, because it feels really important, even more important now because of the throat chakra. Hum, sing, play vibrational tones, go to sound baths, like whatever. But sound is a big thing. Play your favorite music. Try to make sure it's high vibrational, with positive lyrics, because you're very open and you're very sensitive right now. So bring sound in as many forms as you can within yourself and from what you listen to help amplify this energy. Okay, thank you. I think I'm complete for now, and buckle your seatbelt if you haven't already, because it's a wild ride into the multiverse. Talk to you soon.